Talking with the experts.
Yeah. Do you know what? We don't talk about money. So that is one of the things that you can do. You can start talking about money and stop making it a dirty little secret. Like honestly, if money could talk, it would tell you how sad it is that you hate on it because money's just energy. Like what about if we were swapping cucumbers for stuff instead, right? Like would we not want to get a pile of cucumbers so that we could have experience that we wanted? Like why have we made money so bad? Why, money's the root of all evil, and like really examine what's going on in your head. So the first thing is start talking about money so that you normalize it, right? Like back in the old days when we didn't talk about sex, right? It wasn't normalized. It was all secret. Now it's out there. Same with money. Start talking about money and really normalize it so that it becomes a part of your everyday life. Because when it's taboo and you're afraid of it, you're energetically holding it away.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com. And Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today it's my special pleasure to introduce you to get your tongue back in, Michelle Clarke. And she's from Empowerment Empires, and we're going to be discussing money and success mindset. Now, Michelle's energy is infectious and her words inspiring and empowering. She's obsessed with helping soul-led entrepreneurs to achieve transformational success by up-leveling their energy, mindset, and habits, and helping them to step into their power and speak their authentic message. Welcome, Michelle. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. Literally my favorite topic to talk about, what we're talking about today.
I think it's all of us need to have a bit of a change of mindset because considering what's happened in the last 18 months, I think we've all had to rearrange our thinking to come out on top in business. Especially if you're a service provider, not so much for products, I don't think, but service providers have really had to change everything around in their work life and even their business, social life. So, how I guess do you go about empowering people to change how they think about things?
And honestly, it is all about mindset. I mean, of course, I teach strategy as well, but honestly, it's like 80% mindset and 20% strategy. It really does start and finish and in the middle. It's all in the mind, really. It truly is. Like last week was a pretty bad week here in New Zealand. Like it's just, Auckland's been locked up for 9 weeks now, and I know other people have been doing it far harder than what we have, but people have, kind of reached that crisis point where they actually just can't cope with it anymore. But last week, honestly, the women in my club, some of them had the biggest sales they've ever had. So it's not about what's going on externally, it's about what you're doing internally. And I think that's the most important thing to notice or to do right now is there's a storm going on around you. What do you do when there's a storm? You hunker down, you batten down the hatches, you go within, right? Go within, because the goodness is in here. The chaos is only out there.
Yeah, I think people have it all about face because they internalize a lot of things and they don't, I guess, don't give themselves the advantage of looking outside the square or outside the box because they internalize all their feelings and they can't see the wood for the trees, basically.
Yeah. I like to say that you should be an octopus, not a jellyfish. So a jellyfish sucks everything in from outside and they kind of become what their outside environment is, whereas an octopus squirts their ink out, right, and makes the environment like exactly a part of them. So you don't want to be paying attention to what's going on, because if you're like, the worst thing you can do right now, honestly, is watch the news and engage in social media, because it's just fear, and more fear. And as soon as you get fearful, you're stepping away from love. When you're stepping away from love, you're stepping away from money and success. You truly are.
I guess, yeah, it is. But how can people sort of attract money to them? How does that work?
Simply by changing. There's so many things. Like honestly, there's 50 things that I could tell you. So I'm going to tell you the thing that I think people need to hear the most right now is change the way that you feel about money. People feel that money is dirty or ugly, and I do this. Should we do a fun activity that helps
Yeah,
people?
that'd be terrific.
I love doing this. Okay, well, I'll do it on you, Rose, and they can all follow along. So I want you to imagine, for me, just close your eyes for a second, if you don't mind. And I want you to imagine the most wealthy person you can possibly imagine. I mean, like dripping in wealth. And then I just want you to notice to yourself, are they male or female? I want you to notice what their hair looks like, what their clothes look like, what their facial expressions look like, what jewelry they're wearing, what accessories they have, how they hold their body, what does their body posture tell you about that person? What are the sorts of things that this person would say? How does this person treat other people? How does this person operate out in the world? And most importantly, what do you think about this person? On a scale of 1 out of 10, how much would you like to be this person? And then open your eyes, Rose, and tell me the number.
10.
Oh, yay. That's fantastic. I tell you what, when we do this and your listeners listening to it, most people get somewhere between 3 and 7. Because a lot of people imagine a wealthy person that they actually don't want to become. Now that holds us away from success. And I mean, of course you're successful. You've got the podcast, you've got the business, you're doing it, right? Like I'd expect you to have a good result from doing that. But it is very interesting because sometimes I do come across successful people that actually have a poor attitude about money. And what I notice is that they're able to make money, but they're not able to keep it.
Mm.
Because if we imagine that a wealthy person is actually not a very nice person to be around, of course, we don't want to be that person. So even if you're really good at making money, you'll find a way not to keep it so that you don't become that horrible person.
Yeah, I just, I mean, Richard Branson is got to be my person to go to. I think he's
amazing.
He's amazing. And, you know, I'd love the opportunity to get to meet the man one day because I think his philosophy of life is just so out there. I mean, he started with absolutely zero money and look at him now, you know, he's flying to space.
Yeah, and he had so many people telling him that he was wrong. Like, have you read his autobiography? It's just amazing. He had so many people telling him that he was wrong and, oh, you're a dreamer and that's not the way we should do it. And instead of running towards what people thought, he ran in the opposite direction. And that's truly what you have to do to be successful. Do what everyone else is not doing. And he epitomizes that so much, honestly. Love that man to bits.
Yeah, I've throughout my business journey, I've been following what the gurus have been telling me to do. And a lot of times it didn't sit well with me. And I think, you know, well, if that's the way you're going to run, you know, teach people to run a business, you know, that's all. It might work for you, but it doesn't work for everybody. And so, and I'm a bit of a rebel anyway. So I would take those ideas and you know, take them on board. But most often I would just, thank you very much. And, you know, here's my $5,000 and, you know, but I didn't really enjoy, you know, how you were teaching me. But I've actually found a business coach who doesn't preach marketing like normal people do. You know, his is just such a different approach. And I mean, I don't know that he's overly wealthy, but it makes more sense to me how he's teaching stuff. You know, you don't need to do the email nurturing, and you don't need to do a lot of stuff that wastes your time. And you know,
it's just fake, honestly. Like, people aren't dumb, right? Don't market to them like they're dumb. Don't try and market to them like you're convincing them. I mean, I don't teach anyone follow the 6-figure formula. Like, it just makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
It really makes me want to vomit. That is not the way to success. The way to success is following what's in your soul. But we're so afraid to do it because we've been taught to wear the same clothes and have the same haircut and, you know, to be the same and follow the gurus and follow their formula. That worked for them because it came from their soul. Like, I'm not saying that it's fake news and that they're sharks or anything. It truly worked for them, but it's not going to work for you because something different is in your soul. And if you turn up and you try and blur out that formula to everyone, they're going to feel it as fake news and run a mile from you. Whereas if you turn up and talk about, I don't know, like this morning I wanted to talk about exactly what I just said, you know, like about the hurricane and battening down the hatches and it being an internal game, and then I just tack on whatever offer I feel is aligned to what I'm doing right then and there. Now that's marketing from the soul, right? Like, none of the sleazy stuff. But let me tell you, like you said, you're not sure if your business coach is wealthy or not. I mean, I've got millions, and I, this is who I am all day, every day. I swear, I turn up how I feel like turning it up. I say what I want to say, and you can get wealthy doing this. You can. It's not an either or situation.
No, it's not. And money shouldn't be about ego. It should be about what makes you happy. And if you're happy having, $1 million, well, so be it. And if you're happy having $10, well, be happy, because really it's, money's just a thing. It's just a thing to be able to progress from one part of your life to another, but it shouldn't rule your life, and it shouldn't, and success shouldn't be, in my books, shouldn't be topped on with money. Success should be how the person is, not what they have.
Yeah,
that's my view.
And on the same hand, don't be afraid of the money, right? Like, I completely agree. It's joy, because nobody wants to make money so that they can roll around in piles of money, right? Like, it's not what it's about for anyone. Money buys you the experiences and the things that you can do to bring the joy, right? But if you're not happy on the inside, it doesn't matter what you do. I always say that money is like alcohol. It's an expander. If a miserable person drinks alcohol, they're going to be a miserable drunk, right? If a happy person drinks alcohol, they're going to get even more silly and really annoy you, right? So money just expands the person that you are, which is why that exercise that we did in the beginning is so important. Because if you don't see wealthy people as beautiful light beings, because they are, everyone is a beautiful light being, having money doesn't make you a nasty person, then it really makes a difference.
It does. It certainly does. So I guess what are some strategies that people can use that can change their mindset about the way they either think about money or don't think about money?
Yeah. Do you know what? We don't talk about money. So that is one of the things that you can do. You can start talking about money and stop making it a dirty little secret. Like, honestly, if money could talk, it would tell you how sad it is that you hate on it, because money's just energy. Like, what about if we were swapping cucumbers for stuff instead, right? Like, would we not want to get a pile of cucumbers so that we could have experience that we wanted? Like, why have we made money so bad? Why, money's the root of all evil? And like, really examine what's going on in your head. So the first thing is start talking about money so that you normalize it, right? Like back in the old days when we didn't talk about sex, right? It wasn't normalized. It was all secret. Now, now it's out there. Same with money. Start talking about money and really normalize it so that it becomes a part of your everyday life. Because when it's taboo and you're afraid of it, you're energetically holding it away. The second thing that you can do is start amassing money. Like, sometimes we're afraid to hold money. So if you even just start like a savings account, like I've got hundreds of different accounts, but for example, when I first started out with money mindset, is I would have an account that was called Michelle's fun money. So I would put $1 into it every single week, right? Started really, really small. And every time I had a negative thought about money, I'd put another $1 on. So it's kind of like the equivalent of like putting an elastic band around my wrist, right? Yeah. So every time I thought a bad thought, so I soon trained myself not to think badly about money. That's the second thing that they can do.
Yeah, you're right, because money it's a vibration. It's everything is energy, and if you think negatively about money, or you think that you're poor, or you think negative things about your bank account, you're just going to think lack. And lack will just follow you around. But if you think abundance, then it will be, you will become abundant, because you think you've changed your mindset, you've changed your thinking around. Yeah, I agree. Took me a long time to get that. My husband reckons money's made flat to stack, but I reckon it's made round to go round.
Me too. Like, money flat to stack. I love it. It's not like money is a river, not a reservoir. It's not supposed to stay with us. You're supposed to have fun spending it, because when you're just hoarding it, I mean, I give tons away. There's lots of charities that I give to, and I love doing that. Like, it brings me joy. And if you are hanging on to it, you're hanging on to it out of fear that more is not coming. And that just tanks the whole vibration anyway. I spend it like it's going out of fashion so that more can come in. Like that, there's not a finite amount. Money, just like sunshine, is limitless.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's and if you just keep thinking, oh, I don't have enough money for this, well, then you won't ever have enough money to do anything. You've got to think, money, money, money. I have money for this, or the money will come, just be patient because the universe will answer.
Exactly. And that's why having the fun account's really important, because when you build up a certain amount of money and then you buy something fun, you get that whole feeling of, oh, money's fun, and it's really important. And you're proving to yourself that you do have enough money to buy the things that make you happy.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess as a business owner, though, how can we get people to, or what methods can they use to bring more abundance and change what they're doing? I mean, as a person, it's easy. When you've got a business, though, sometimes it's your thinking is a little bit different.
I would say that is the problem, is that the thinking is different. Like, we're not two separate people. You can't be Michelle in the private life and then business Michelle. Like, that's a mistake, right? And that just ends up in that fake assery that I was talking about, that pushes your clients away, when there is only one version of you. And what you're thinking in your private life about money directly affects the amount of money that you're getting in your business. Like you truly can't separate them. I hear what you're saying, and that sometimes people in business get a whole fear mindset on, because, Uncle Joe says, hey, Rose, now's not the time to be growing your business. You should be saving your money because we're in a recession, or a recession's coming, or, so you have more people putting this negative stuff at you. And then I'd say, go back to the internal game. Forget what's going on around you. If you know that what you're doing is right and that the world needs it, it will be a success. The only thing you've got to work on doing is raising your vibration, clarifying your message, and honing your offers. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, it's easy. It sounds easy, but sometimes
not easy.
It's not easy. No, it's it's hearing in here and translating it so it comes out this way and it doesn't rattle in the middle.
Yeah. Do you know what the most important thing is don't hang out with people with scarcity mindset. That's why you've got to find yourself like a coaching club, or you've got to, upgrade your friends, or, hang out with people that have a powerful mindset. Because if you hang out with the worms, you're going to be eating dirt.
And you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang with. So
thank goodness I hang out with my furry co-workers all day. I'm going to turn into a schnauzer.
Oh, good. They're so cute.
Don't want to grow the beard, though, if I'm honest.
No, I don't think so. No, me either. I pulled a hair out today. I thought, oh my God. I am getting old.
This is when you can't see them and you've got to get your husband to pull it out. That's a whole new level of marriage, that is.
Oh, it is, yes. And he says, oh my God, you're growing a beard. Anyway, Michelle, have you where can people find you?
So people can find me on empowermentempires.com, and probably the fastest and funnest way to work with me is to sign up to my newsletter, because I send you all sorts of free trainings. In fact, there's a 5-week free course on becoming magnetic to your soulmate clients, which talks a whole lot about energetics, everything about energetics. Or they could buy my latest book, which is Woo Woo for Women in Business. That is a fun.
Oh, yes. I was going to ask you, have you got a book out?
I do. I've got 2. So I've just launched the second one, which is Woo Woo for Women in Business, and it's pretty woo-woo. And it shows us how, like, the side of energetics gets meshed with the stuff that you actually do in your business. So how you mesh the 2 of you together.
All right. And is that on Amazon, or can you find it other places?
It's on Amazon.
Terrific. So go, ladies, and go and buy this book. And guys, you can probably learn.
Yeah.
Don't think
I've had several guys read it and they love it. So
terrific.
I'm passionate about getting women to speak out louder, because we've been raised differently. We've been taught not to yell and not to push ourselves out there. And men have been allowed to be a little bit more vocal and a little bit more out there. It's not that I don't care about them. I certainly love men. It's just that I feel like women are a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Oh, we are a little bit, yes. It's getting better, though. I think women are, because women are growing up with a different type of mindset that our mothers had. I think girls are getting the best end of the deal at the moment. So, yeah. All right, Michelle, any wise words of wisdom that you'd like to share?
Yeah, just that you're so much stronger than what you think you are. Like, you were put on this planet for a purpose, and the world needs what you've got. So please just stop doubting yourself. To start sharing really what's in here. Honestly, that's the only thing you need to know to grow your business and your wealth and your love and your joy.
That's it. Yeah. All right, Muddy. Well, thank you so much. I've had an absolute pleasure speaking with you. It's brightened up my morning. So
Oh, fabulous.
we'll talk again soon. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
Talking with the experts.